morning. Good morning. If you weren't awake, you are now. That was nice. Good job, guys. Good morning. Welcome to the Center of Unity. We are thrilled that you're with us this morning. If you are joining us via the internet, we also want to welcome you this morning. Thank you so much. We know you have a choice, and you chose to be here with us this morning. Thank you so much. I have some good news. The good news is about unconditional love. The good news is that you are loved. And the good news is that our entire life can and should be based around the absolute love of God. The love centers and grounds absolutely everything. In Matthew, Jesus, he would say, turn around, the kingdom of heaven is near. But the good news is that the kingdom of heaven is already here. The realm of God is here right now in the present tense, right here with us. You don't have to wait for something else to happen. We can and are living the kingdom of heaven right now, reconciled to God, reconciled to one another right now. Let's sing this song, Bob. Are your tabernacle. Glory to the Lord on high. God of wonders beyond our galaxy. You are holy, holy. The universe declares your majesty.
Call your name by night. God of wonders beyond our galaxy. You are holy, holy. The universe declares your majesty. You are holy, holy. Lord of heaven and earth. Beyond our galaxy, you are holy, holy. The universe declares your majesty. You are holy, 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 holy.
That's some good energy to get us started this morning. Good morning, everyone. So glad that you are here with us, wherever you're joining us from. We are grateful that you have chosen to spend this next hour with us. You know, last Sunday after my message, I went home, and we didn't have any kids or grandkids, and the National Park series by Ken Burns was on PBS, and I had never seen it before, so I ended up binge watching most of the day. And I got the most beautiful blessing and affirmation from that message when I heard one of the speakers in that service say that our independence really is us understanding our interdependence. I was like, oh, wait a minute. I said that. I thought that was mine. But it was just a beautiful affirmation, and then I just continued to get more and more inspired as they talked about John Muir. I had never really known that much about the life of John Muir, even though I've been to Muir Woods when I was younger, and just describing the beautiful majesty that's out there for us. And his opinion was, if you really wanted to experience God, to know God, just go to one of these amazing places that have been created in our universe, and that is the cathedral. In fact, he said, I don't know why they're building a cathedral in Yosemite. We have the most beautiful cathedral just by walking outdoors. So it was good to know that there are so many different people who are thinking and coming to understand life in the same way. Today, we are beginning our visioning process for our mission-centric community, and we're going to discover and learn a little more. Parts of this message that I'm going to share with you are going to be to help us understand in a new and different way what that means to be mission-centric, and just hang in there because the end, I know, will be really inspiring for each of us. So join with me as we just take a moment to center ourselves into the beauty and the majesty that is our Creator, the Creator that is in and through all of life, that is alive in each of us. And we ask that divine energy to open our minds and our hearts on this day so that we can see and experience the highest and best vision for Center of Unity. And we are grateful to know that you walk this journey with us, that is your wisdom, your love, and your light that will guide us every step of the way. And so it is, and so we allow it to be. Amen.
And good morning, everyone. The fourth principle is the principle that states, we create our life experiences through our way of thinking, feeling, and acting. That's the old one where we used to say thoughts are things. The first thing that happens is the thought, and everything after that is us. We behave, we think, we act as we think, and that is the one thing that we do have control over. Our core value today is service. And the way that we monitor our service, too, is our commitment to making sure everybody gets a say. And starting in the next couple of weeks, we will start this re-emerging, reimagining ourselves. And I urge everyone to come to one of the 3 meetings we have scheduled. We have an in-person meeting, a Zoom meeting, and a survey scheduled. And that way, everybody has a stake in this transformation that we're undergoing. And like a chrysalis, the moth will change into a beautiful, or the caterpillar will change into a beautiful butterfly. And I expect the same we will. Thank you.
Thank you. And good morning again. You guys just have to keep saying good morning. The daily word for today is pray for others. I know the truth of each dear one I hold in prayer. What an honor it is to hold others in prayer. That's really true. I editorialized there. That wasn't in here. I am grateful for this sacred trust and use it to see beyond appearances, knowing they are temporary conditions. I focus on the unchangeable truth that each one for whom I pray is a divine being, a living expression of God. As I pray for others, I envision divine peace, calming thoughts, and strengthening faith. I see healing leading to the realization of wholeness. I pray divine love and wisdom create harmony in relationships, guiding every decision. I affirm divine order is established in every area of life. I claim for them the zeal to complete everything that needs to be done. I then give thanks, grateful to bless others with the gift of prayer. Again, truly I tell you, if 2 of you agree on earth about anything you ask, it will be done for you by my Father in heaven. From Matthew 18:19.
Beautiful. Thank you, Bob, and thank you, Jim. So as we are beginning to emerge from this pandemic experience over the last year and a half, our lives, our community, our nation, and certainly our world is forever changed. There's no going back, only forward. And the question about how it is that we move forward is something that we're stepping into, as you've heard this morning, as you've read in the newsletter and in the e-news that you've gotten. And each of us are called to ask that, not only about our own lives, but certainly about how we step into this new way of being in the world that we live in. And certainly, we want to focus this next month or two or three on how we move forward as Center of Unity. You know, anytime we experience a major change in our lives, a shift, an evolutionary spinning of the ways in which we grow, our success in understanding and navigating these changes require a proactive approach rather than being reactive to what's happening. This was true, I believe, of the early Christian communities as they began forming. Half of the books in the New Testament are really dedicated to trying to navigate this new burgeoning understanding of what we now know today as Christianity. And I believe that they were our first model of a mission-centric group of communities. Something that this community, and indeed many communities, are seeking to shift into, to be more in that space of having what emerges come from the bottom up rather the top down. The burgeoning groups that were happening back in those days met in people's homes, and everyone, often from the wealthy owner to those who were attracted to and wanted to be a part of that message, were welcomed into that community. And they all played their parts according to their gifts in fulfilling the mission. And their mission was simple: to spread the good news of salvation. Some were their leaders, going out and speaking to people, had that gift of being able to share this message with people. Others contributed financially as they continued to work the jobs that were their livelihoods and professions. Others lived there and provided the physical support, whether it was cooking or cultivating the crops or caring for the children. Everyone had a role to play in the community, all while seeking to live as a community with those core Christ principles of love and compassion and kindness and forgiveness and right judgment. Perhaps one of their early mission statements might have been, free of judgment, full of love. And yet, as the years unfolded, and by the time we got to about 325 AD, and Christianity was deemed the path for the masses by the Roman Emperor Constantine, the church evolved once again, and it became more of a top-down organization with the top tier determining what the good of the people were about, and the people were just expected to support it with their tithes and perhaps step in and support some little small part of that mission. Over the long history of Christianity, the tension between minister-centric, or in those days it would have been priest-centric or pope-centric, and mission-centric has played out time and time again. Today, under the major 6 branches of Christianity, there are thousands of split-off branches, as each branch tried to break away from others telling them what to do and believe that they had another good idea. And certainly New Thought and Unity specifically is a sub-branch of all of that. Interestingly enough, the Unity movement formed in a similar way to early Christianity. It started out in people's homes. Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, who are the co-founders of Unity, did not really have designs on creating a denomination or even having church buildings. They encouraged people to gather wherever they were, like-minded people, to discuss and explore and grow through these early teachings. And that early mission of Unity, and I think one that still lives today, was to find practical ways to live the teachings of the Master Jesus in order for us to be able to awaken to our own indwelling Christ nature. And as all things happened, as the movement grew, so did the formation of churches and organizations to support them. And unlike other religious organizations, it remained true to its grassroots to a certain extent because we have no mother church. Every Unity church is autonomous, is free to choose their own minister, is free to choose their own mission, is free to choose how it is that they are showing up in our world. And yet, even with this freedom under there, the formation and greater form in the Unity movement started to take place, as it often does. Unity evolved and modeled the same kind of church environments, in large part, that they were seeing out in the other branches of Christianity, and it became a minister-centric model, where the minister is the one primarily called to guide and direct the flock. And that brings us to the opportunities and the challenges that we face today. Religious organizations have been on the decline for the past 50 to 60 years. In the 1940s, it was estimated that 73% of Americans were affiliated with a religious organization. And according to the research by the Barna Group, and this comes from 2016, so I think the decline has even gone further, 66% of traditionalists, those of you born from I don't even remember exactly, the older people in this group, you know who you are, born before 1945, are members of a church compared to 58% of baby boomers and 50% of the Gen X, 36% of millennials. So we can see the trend as new generations come into being. And in 2020, now this might have been somewhat pandemic related, the overall percentage of people across the board dropped below 50% who consider themselves connected to or a part of a religious organization. In contrast, there is a growing demographic of people who identify themselves as spiritual, not religious. You've probably heard that term out there, who desire a real transcendent experience of God, and oftentimes will seek it out in yoga or meditation or silence or nature, as John Muir liked to go out to find his experience of God. And those who have been studying the trends within unity, primarily and most notably the Dr. Reverends Gary and Jane Simmons, believe that unity is uniquely poised to be a great opportunity to attract those people into our midst, to begin to shift and to allow those people to come in and grow, because in so many ways we align with this growing group, and it requires us to really take a look at the current model that we have, the current way that we operate, in order to create a space to welcome those individuals into our community. Mission-centric rather than minister-centric has become the new buzzword. You've heard it here. I'm sure that you've perhaps even said it. And in general, we think, yeah, that's what I want. But what is it? What is exactly? And we're just really beginning to experiment with what that looks like as a community. I think, first, a mission-centric community, it is about seeking and supporting those people, especially those millennials and Gen Xers who are looking to have a transcendent and transformative experience, that becomes the model, that it's not just about hearing about things, but it's about having that experience. And honestly, Sunday services don't always allow that to happen. We know that small groups, those places where you can come together with others and you can explore and you can connect and you can expand your understanding and awareness and experience of God, just like those early Christians' experience, are one of the keys to that. So we will continue to focus on the kinds of small groups that we offer here. You know, as I was sitting and envisioning what this might look like here, especially trying to think of what really is calling being asked for by the millennials and Gen Xers, it might be something like Spiritual Tuesdays and Tacos, where it's a very informal, interactive discussion. Perhaps there's some music in it, but it's really not so much the Sunday service model, but it is a place where we can really go deep into understanding how we can live these principles. It, I would imagine, would address things like, how do we manage the stress that's in our lives? That, especially for that range of people, that's what they're working with right now. How do I, bring this idea and this practice of meditation into my daily life when there's so many demands going on in my world? I also, based on this email that Rick Weaver had sent to me about what another more traditional group is doing, is to have a group of those millennials or Gen Xers who really want to go deep, and it would be kind of modeled like after a disciples program, and it would be a year-long commitment, and in that commitment you would go through a process where it would touch every aspect of your life in learning how to grow into a deeper and more committed relationship with your own indwelling wisdom and light. And in return, then those who were participating would go out and serve the world, whether it's within this community or out in the greater world. So there's there's unlimited possibilities of how that might look. The second thing for mission-centric ministries to be successful, and I think that these next two are probably the most critical ones, are systems that are in place, that are created, that cultivate those who come into our midst from being attenders, or you can think of them as the receivers, to the owners or the partners who are part of the givers in the community. And thirdly, that we begin to foster and put systems into place and allow people to grow into greater emotional and spiritual maturity. It's a tough thing to have a diverse group of people come together and there not be changes or challenges and conflicts. We're just a big old group of people. I know sometimes people get disillusioned that it's not just always free of judgment and full of love. And that's a beautiful vision to hold. But the reality is, we're a big old group of people in varying places of our own spiritual unfolding, and we will disagree. So part of this journey is to give us the skill sets to be able to navigate those challenges and those conflicts that show up. Nonviolent communication was certainly a start in that. The Eye of the Storm series, which I'm going to start next Sunday, is another good primer for getting us into that place to expand our perspectives, to begin to see things and understand things from a different point of view. And then the fourth part of this is that the minister shifts from being the one who determines what's best for the community to being sort of a cheerleader and a supporter for where the community wants to go. I kind of like to think of it as a spiritual coach, you know? So the minister's not doing the decision making, but the minister is there to support the community in figuring out how to bring that into being. You know, as we reemerge from what has been, it is our opportunity to reimagine how we are going to continue to grow and evolve as a community. And I share this with you so that we can begin to understand the different ways in which we will show up and support this unfoldment and the mission that becomes central. To understand and to vision how it is that we grow that into something more than just our minds and hearts, but express it out into our world. And I also recognize that we have a good population of those traditionalists in our community and some of the older millennials, or baby boomers, I should say. So that's what I am. I'm an older baby boomer. And you may feel, well, you know, things are working pretty good. Why change? And I want you to know this. It's not either or. It's both and. We want to be here so that we find the right places and groups and support systems for all people. And we know that we've got to continue to welcome into our midst, right where they are, this younger generation in order for the longevity of this community to be secured. So we want to hear from everyone who has a stake in this community. I would love to hear from people who perhaps are just joining us, what it is that they're seeking, what called them here today, what are they hoping to experience. I'd love to invite in the people who perhaps have been active here in the past but are no longer active here. So if you know some of those people, please encourage them to participate in these opportunities so that we can hear from them perhaps what no longer serve them that cause them to step away. We can't be everything to everyone, but we want to see how it is and what it is that the majority of the people in our world right now want and need out of a spiritual community. And we're especially interested, and I'm looking at my daughter down here, in discovering how we can inspire spiritual growth with those millennials and Gen Xers. What is it that would really serve and support you? So, as Kenny mentioned, we're going to be having a gathering here in person on July the 24th. We're going to be doing it via Zoom on August the 1st. And then at some point, if you can't make either of those, we will be sending out a survey with the same kinds of questions to those who perhaps don't even live in this area anymore but have some input because they can now still be a part of us through this beautiful technology that we've gotten to develop over this past year. Everyone and every community or organization needs a vision or they will perish. And so this is our opportunity, and I want us to start right now to see what it is that's arising up within us, what that vision might look like. You don't have to have all the form around it, but just see what pictures, what emotions, what ideas, what thoughts begin to arise as we move into a time of meditation. Bob, you want to come and join me? So I just invite you to take a moment and just get comfortable right where you are and become aware of that breath, that commonality between all of life as it moves in and out of your body. And as you breathe, just let go of all of that activity that has brought you into this moment so that you can, in these next few breaths, just simply be still and be open to the guidance of that indwelling light. See if you can place your attention down in your heart space, almost as if you're breathing in and out of your heart. Feel a sense of relaxation, a coherence in the rhythm of that heartbeat that allows the thoughts racing in your mind begin to slow. And into this heart space, I invite you to bring to mind someone or something that you deeply love. It could be a person, could be a beloved pet. Doesn't even matter if they're still on this planet Earth, but something that really expands your heart with that unconditional love that sings within you to know how blessed you've been to have that connection. Whenever and whatever we create, we want to create out of that energy of love. And so as you spend just a few moments and we move for a time of quiet, ask that heart space of love to bring to mind, whether it's something that you see or hear or an idea, how it is that you would love to see Center of Unity continue to support, continue to grow your spiritual life. Breathe into that. And if you did receive an idea or a thought or a vision in this moment, you might want to jot it down this day so that you can bring it to the greater group. And if you're still in that question, just continue to be open as these next few weeks unfold, to continue to ask the question from that place of love and possibility and see what arises. For as we're reminded by the Master Teacher, all you have to do is ask in order to receive. And it is with that energy of gratitude to know that all things are unfolding in perfect and divine ways, that we begin to bring our attention back to this time and space, aware once again of the body and the breath moving in and through it. Bringing that sense of love and possibility back into this day to enliven us as we go and do what's ours to do. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. You know, the psalmist had a vision, which is now thousands of years ago, when they wrote, "How good and pleasant it is when God's people live together in unity." It's a pretty lofty vision. It's one, I think, that we hold and are still working towards how it is that we can make that happen. And I've got a hint for you. I am the one. You are the one. We are the ones. Imagine that.
It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer,
Y'all know the song, y'all can sing it with us.
but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one.
Thank you guys for that. I always tend to do this. It's Saturday, and I'm like, ooh, I got a vision. Ooh, can we add this video in? Ooh, this would be really cool if you guys did this. So they are wonderful to just do things on the fly on Sunday morning. So I'm very grateful for that. We do live in an abundant universe, and that abundance blesses our lives in so many ways and supports us in doing what we're called to do with ease and with grace. The spiritual law of giving and receiving reminds us that as we give, so too we receive. And so, however it is that you choose to give to this community, I pray that you will give from that energy of love, from that energy of abundance, from that energy of knowing that as this goes out and circulates in the world, that you are making a positive difference. As we prepare to share these gifts and offerings with Center of Unity, bring that energy of love and gratitude into your heart space. Feel it flowing through you so that as you give this gift, it also goes and flows with that same energy. After we bless our gifts, the ushers are going to invite you up row by row, and you will put your gift in the large basket here on the table, and then you will also receive an affirmation to bless you for this week so that you can also be in that flow of giving and receiving. And even if this is not your Sunday to share, or you give electronically, which more and more people are doing now, and we're very grateful for that because that gives us a consistent knowledge of what it is we have to work with as we plan what we can do here in our ministry. We want you to come and be a part of this flow of giving and receiving. You can simply place your hand and add your energy to the basket, or we have some little cards that you can use in the little pockets in front of you there. You can bring one of those up and place that into the basket. And if you're physically unable to come forward, then we do have a basket at the back of the door, also with some affirmations there, and you can drop it out on your way out. And to support those who watch us remotely in this flow of giving and receiving, you can go to centerofunity.org/give and give there if you choose to electronically. And then if you scroll down the page, there's also random affirmations there for you. You just pick the picture you like and you click on it, and you'll receive an affirmation to support and bless you this week. So join with me as we bless these gifts and the way that they bless this ministry together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am.
So, if you're watching us for the first time, we're glad you've chosen to join us. We invite you to visit our website and fill out the Connect card so we'll know you're watching. And if you're visiting us in person for the first time, we ask that you complete a visitor card you can find in the back of the pew there in front of you, and drop it in the basket as you leave or leave it at the welcome desk. And we welcome all of you. I think we're getting more and more in person. I love it. Now, the Spiritual Education Council, consisting of Mark and Dawn Morris, Gigi Johnson, Terry Schmig, Sharon Crowder, and Kenny Green, help to ensure our spiritual growth in comfortable and open discussion formats by facilitating Sunday school each week. In the past, some of them have individually designed and facilitated various classes and workshops, using their own time to do so. And so, to this dedicated group of individuals, join me in appreciating these folks. We love you, we bless you, we truly appreciate you, and we hold the Christ in you. Namaste. And I just want to say one thing while I have the microphone. If you're not here in person today, you're going to miss a wonderful lunch back there with our court fellowship group is meeting again in person, and there's fried chicken and potato salad and all kinds of things bubbling back there. We're going to have a good time.
Say.
Yay!
So Daniel was born with a genetic blood disorder called beta thalassemia major. All of their organs are working in overdrive because they don't have the red cells they need to keep their body alive. The quality of life and their health suffers greatly. For the first 4 years of Daniel's life, he lived in an orphanage in China, and they really did the best that they could, but they were limited by the medical facilities as well as the local blood supply. We knew that it was imperative to get him to the United States as soon as possible. Daniel is transfused every 21 days. A couple of days before his scheduled transfusion, we go and have labs drawn, and that sample of his blood is sent off to Carter Blood Care, where they make sure that it's free of antibodies and that they can find a perfect match of blood. Even though the demand for blood stays stable, the supply of blood does not always stay stable. So we decided to get involved with our family in hosting blood drives. We are donors ourselves now on a regular basis. If you've never given blood before, I just really encourage you to go out and give. Donating blood is really the only thing that you can do that costs you nothing, and it literally can save somebody's life. When you go out to donate, you could be donating to your neighbor or your friend or the teller at your bank without ever knowing. Every unit of blood that you give is a story that is able to be told because of you. You've given life, you've given a gift not only to the recipient, but to every single person that knows and loves that recipient. And if I can meet the donors that have given to Daniel, I would just love to give them a big hug and say, just thank you from our entire family for making these donations so that Daniel can live. I'm so proud to be called your neighbor, and just so proud to live here in North Texas, where we do have donors like you. Every single unit of blood that we get for Daniel is just a step towards him living a long and healthy life. It's giving him a future. He wouldn't be here if it weren't for you.
Please welcome John Wright with Carter Blood Care. He has just a few words to say to us this morning.
Thank you very much. All right, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. It goes without saying, She's a friend, she's a client, and she's a donor. You know, it is every day that we get up, that we go about our life, but we don't realize the people that need blood transfusions. He looks so healthy, but he gets so sick every 20 days. But there are a lot of little Daniels all over the Metroplex. We're behind. We need your help. However, we have a goal for you for next Sunday. It's 12. You've got 8 donors so far. Yay. But we have room for 18, so I don't want to not say something about that. If you cannot donate, I understand. You can't do it. But you can bring someone that can, because that will really help. We're in a critical stage. It doesn't go any higher. We're in critical stage. So whatever you could do, please come and donate or bring someone with you, and let's have this be a roaring success. Thank you.
Here's what's coming up at Center of Unity. Transformation is about positive change and bringing out the best in yourself and your spiritual community. Join us either in person on July 24th or online on August 1st as Reverend Linda talks about the key qualities needed for our transformation. Childcare must be reserved by July 21st. Join Rhonda Lightfoot tomorrow at 7 p.m. for the guided meditation and discussion group. There will be an opportunity to journal, so bring something to write in and meet in the sanctuary. Now is the perfect time to take advantage of our biggest sale ever and purchase a plaque for our Tree of Life. Contact Mary Salerno or the church office for more info. Join us next week as we begin our new Sunday series where Reverend Linda will push us to go beyond conflict and into peacemaking. There are a variety of online classes available each week. Visit our website or the COU app for more details. There are multiple ways you can make a donation to Center of Unity. You can drop off your donation at the church, mail it to our P.O. Box, visit our website, use the COU or Venmo app, or use text to give. Your continued support is greatly appreciated.
All right. So I believe we have some kids coming out, and we're going to let them come on down while we sing. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Hey, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
All right.
Come on up. Come on.
You can come up
Come
for a
on.
few minutes.
There we go.
I was going to say, and of course, my grandchild is the one going, no, not going to do it, busy. Oh, well, God forbid we should pull her away from the cheeses, for sure. Well, hopefully you guys had fun this morning. We're happy to see, slowly but surely, our youth starting to come back, too.
That's right. All right, so why don't we all stand up together and we'll do our peace song, shall we?
so as we go into this day, into this week, imagining what can be, we go knowing our prayer for protection together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Have a beautiful week, everyone.